Okay, so if you're thinking about getting into trading, you're standing at a crossroads. And the choice you make right now, well, it can be the difference between years of frustration and actual success. All right, you've made the decision. I want to be a trader. Awesome. But then, bam, you're hit with this absolute tidal wave of stuff. Forex, crypto, stocks, a million YouTube gurus all promising you their secret strategies. It's a total maze, and it's incredibly easy to take a very, very wrong turn. So let's look at how this plays out in the real world. We're gonna follow the true stories of two guys, Tom and Dan. Tom, he spent 3 years just completely lost in the maze. But Dan, he went from a total beginner to a professional trader in just a year and a half. So what on earth was the difference? All right, let's start with Tom's story, because honestly, it's a path so many new traders end up on. It's a path that's built on a really powerful and, often very costly illusion. So Tom's journey kicks off back in 2014. He watches The Wolf of Wall Street, gets super hyped, you know how it is, and he jumps straight into the world of Forex. For the next 3 years, he's basically glued to his screen, trying to figure out these mysterious squiggles on the charts. But by 2017, he just hits a brick wall. He realizes he's getting absolutely nowhere. And this right here, this is basically the checklist for the exact trap Tom fell into. He was hunting for secret patterns, buying into these wild conspiracies about market makers manipulating everything. He was using unregulated brokers, the kind of platforms that are often trading against their own customers. And he had this idea that the order book, the actual list of orders, was some kind of top secret information only the big dogs could see. And man, this quote from Tom just says it all, doesn't it? After 3 solid years of trying to find some hidden logic, trying to follow the footsteps of some big player, he just came to this gut-wrenching conclusion. What he was looking at was essentially just random noise. Okay, so while Tom is lost in this chart-gazing maze, Dan is taking a completely different road. A road that's grounded not in illusion, but in cold, hard reality. Let's dig into what he did. The absolute game changer for Dan was this one tool, the order book. You might hear it called the DOM. Now here's the crucial difference. A chart shows you the past, right? The order book shows you what's happening right now. It is a live, totally transparent list of every single buy and sell order out there. It's not a secret. It is the market. So Dan's journey was way more methodical. He was working at an investment company, and a client mentions these things called proprietary trading firms. So he looks into it, joins one, and they basically hand him the order book and say, get to work. He just focused on simple, logical actions, and after about a year and a half of putting in the work, boom, he had his first major breakthrough. And listen to this quote, because it's the perfect contrast. Where Tom saw randomness, Dan saw logic. See, he wasn't trying to predict the future. He was just reacting to the real-time supply and demand he could see right in front of him. And that's the whole point. The tool you choose literally shapes your entire worldview of the market. For any trader who actually succeeds, there's always this aha moment, this point where it all just clicks. For Tom, it came 3 years too late, but when it hit, man, it was powerful. So after finally throwing in the towel on the Forex charts, Tom manages to land an internship at a prop trading firm. And on his first day, he sees it. The very tool he was told was some kind of big secret, the live order book. He said it was just a completely mind-blowing experience. Just let that sink in for a second. 3 years. 3 years of struggling, of confusion, all of it just completely wiped away in a single day. The second he saw the real flow of orders, he knew. He just knew that everything he'd been trying to do before was completely and fundamentally wrong. And this right here, this is the absolute heart of the matter. Tom was stuck in this mindset of being a fortune teller, trying to predict secret moves. Dan, on the other hand, learned from day one to just be a reactor, to respond to the data that was right there, visible to everyone. It's a massive shift from chasing complexity to embracing clarity. So how did Dan actually make that leap from novice to pro? Well, it wasn't some magic trick. It was a series of really disciplined professional steps that honestly anyone can learn from. $3,000. That's what Dan made in a single month, a milestone he hit after just a year and a half. And for him, it wasn't just about the money. It was the proof, the validation that his methodical, reality-based approach was actually working. And check this out. Before he even dreamed of quitting his day job, Dan built a rock-solid foundation. He paid off all his high-interest debt, he built up a financial cushion to cover at least a year of his living expenses, he even moved back home for a bit to save money. He kept a super detailed trading journal, and, this is key, he wasn't trying to do it all by himself. And this chart really shows you what might be the single biggest difference maker. Tom spent 3 years totally isolated, just trying to figure it all out on his own. Dan, by contrast, was immediately plugged into a community. He was learning from senior traders, bouncing ideas off his peers. His learning was just supercharged. Seriously, do not underestimate this. The right environment can accelerate your learning curve like nothing else. Getting that real-time feedback from pros, that's the difference between spinning your wheels for years and making real, measurable progress month after month. Okay, so we've seen the two paths laid out, right? A maze of pure guesswork versus a direct road of methodical action. Let's boil this all down to the key takeaways you need to remember. And this table just lays it all out, crystal clear. You've got one path that's all about predicting secrets, working alone, and believing that trading has to be complicated. And then you have the other path. It's about reacting to visible data, working within a community, and understanding that trading has to be logical. And listen up, because this is pure gold. A profitable trader trades when there's real activity. An unprofitable one feels like they have to trade all the time. The pros know that most of the time, maybe 80% of the time, the best trade you can make is no trade at all. They just wait patiently for those high probability moments. Amateurs, though, they feel that constant pressure to be in the market, and that's exactly where they get torn apart. So when it all comes down to it, it's this simple. There is no magic bullet. There's no secret strategy. Real success in trading comes when you stop searching for secrets and you start embracing the hard work. It's about discipline, building a solid financial foundation, and learning to read the actual market, not just its ghost on a chart. And that brings us right back to you. After hearing Tom's story and Dan's story, you got to take a hard look at your own approach. Are you chasing shadows and hunting for secret patterns? Or are you focused on building real, durable skills based on market reality? Because the path you choose, well, that's going to determine everything.